I hope that you weren't buying gold at those high prices that we saw last week, because if you were, you probably got clobbered because gold made a dramatic fall about midweek. So can you avoid those kind of emotional trades? Sure you can, and that's what we'll look at in this video. Now let's jump over and look at our regular weekly analysis, and this week starting on the 28th of October going through to the 1st of November 2024. Hard to believe there's only 2 months and a little bit left in this year 2024. And of course, in this regular weekly analysis, we will look at the high impact news that's coming out, and we have a full calendar. There's a lot going on this week. And then we'll look at the profit and loss from last week's trades. And then, of course, I will share my pending orders with you. That's the trade setups that I have in place for this upcoming week. And I do all of this to help you make profit with your Forex trading. And as always, we start off with our go-to website. That's forexfactory.com, where we can see our high impact news. And as usual, I have a screenshot for you here showing the full calendar that we have this week. A lot of high impact news coming out, all of these red items. And something a little bit unusual, this week we have something on Sunday, and that's the elections in Japan. And you say, well, you know, the market's closed on Sunday. The Forex trading market is closed on Sunday. That's true. So with this being elections in Japan on Sunday, we might see some kind of a spike up or spike down when the market opens on Monday morning, tomorrow morning. So be aware of that and be cautious if you have any trades open with the JPY. Any of the JPY pairs will likely be very volatile this week, because you see further down the screen there on Thursday, Japan is releasing their information about whether or not they will lower or raise the interest rate. And there's no projection. And in fact, there's no time that they're going to announce that. This is always with the JPY. Everything is always tentative, but it usually tends to be around 8 or 9 a.m. Southeast Asia time. So be aware of that, all of this activity with the JPY, so if you're trading JPY pairs. And then on Friday is the big one that we all wait for. All Forex traders watch out for the most important high impact news item, and that is the non-farm employment change. And that's on this Friday, always the first Friday of every month. So again, check forexfactory.com for your local times and be aware of these high impact news items. So let's jump over and have a look at the profit and loss. It was a very disappointing week, but there was no surprise with that, because I told you in last week's video that the next 2 to 3 weeks before the U.S. elections are going to be very, very volatile. I told you to trade small and protect your capital. And if you did that, you got out just fine from last week. And this week is going to be the same, and the following week. So the next 2 weeks, expect a lot of volatility, because there is a huge amount of uncertainty in the markets with these upcoming U.S. elections, and the markets don't like uncertainty. And looking at the charts from last week, the trade setups that I shared with you, and starting off with gold, gold never even thought about, didn't even have any second thoughts about coming down to the pending order, which was at 2,700. On Monday, it just opened and just took off, fell down a little bit, and then continued its move up on Tuesday, and then again on Wednesday before falling down dramatically during the day on Wednesday, climbing back a little bit on Thursday, and then making a good run up on Friday during the U.S. session. So I hope you were not buying gold around these high prices here. When you saw it moving up in the beginning of the week and you said, you know, you just got to buy, you got to get in, you got to get that profit. That's an emotion called FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't buy at high prices. Don't buy anything at high prices. If you're out shopping, you're always looking for a bargain. You're always looking for a sale. And you should be doing the same with Forex trading. The prices will always come back. They will always retrace. They will always make a correction. They will always pull back. And that's exactly what happened here. If you were buying gold at these highs on Wednesday, then gold moved up 200 pips, and it looks like it's going to continue to the moon, but it doesn't. And in fact, it fell down 500 pips. So this buy trade that you made in here, you're suddenly in the same day in a big loss. Unless you had enough money in your account to hold on, then you could have perhaps recovered a little bit. And still, even on Friday, it hasn't got back to the all-time high that we reached last week, which was 2758.45. Okay, so stop making emotional trades. All right, plan the trade, trade the plan. And what do I always tell you? Don't chase the candles. Don't chase the candles. That will always get you in trouble. That is an emotion called FOMO, fear of missing out. Learn to discipline yourself, plan the trade, and trade the plan. Okay, continuing on down to the US 30, interesting move here, and this was nothing unexpected. The stock market crashing, okay, last week because of what? Uncertainty in the markets. There's a lot of uncertainty in the markets right now, and the markets don't like uncertainty. That's because of the US elections coming up. We're likely to see a continuing decline in the US stock market until things are resolved, the election is done and finished, and then everybody will be happy. You know, the future looks good. Okay, the Euro US, we got 12 pips out of that one. Very disappointing. On the first day, the trade did open, but then went the wrong direction, tried to do a recovery, and then continued its downward move. So we're still bearish on the US pairs. The odd US, the same, only got 7 pips out of that one. Very disappointing. A disappointing week altogether, really. 5 pips on the New Zealand US before everything going the wrong direction. And then the pound US, was a buy limit, and that one did not even, it did execute, but never moved up. And some trades will do that sometimes. The trade opened and then it goes the wrong direction. The USD CAD, the trade opened, went the wrong direction. And then the UJ was the only one where we got a little bit out of that one when it opened on Monday. I said to sell. That was a market execution order. It came down briefly for 2 4-hour candles there, and we got 37 pips out of that one. But then that was all she wrote. And the reason for all of these disappointing trades was because, as I told you in last week's video, we saw a decline on the US dollar, and it looked like the dollar would continue to decline. So I was bullish on the major pairs, but as it turned out, with all the uncertainty in the market, you know, the US dollar is a safe haven for people, and with uncertainty, people go for safe havens. So we've been seeing a continuing strengthening, actually. And here is the DXY, which I showed you last week, and it looked like the dollar was going to start to decline as we lead up to the US elections, but with all of the uncertainty in the markets, and the US dollar being a safe haven, it looks like people are going for the US dollar as a safe haven, and it continued to strengthen quite dramatically all week long, fell down a little bit on Thursday, but then started to strengthen again during the closing of the US session. So with strengthening of the US dollar, we're likely to continue to see a bearish movement on the major pairs. And then while we're here on the indexes, go ahead and look at the JPY basket. And this one we don't know what to expect, because as I showed you in the news, we have elections today as I'm making this video, and then on Wednesday we have the JPY, the Central Bank of Japan, will be coming out to announce whether or not they will lower or raise the interest rate. So a lot of uncertainty with the JPY as well. Okay, so let's go over and look at our pending orders that I have. These are the trade setups that I have in place for this upcoming week, and I do this to help you make profit. But just remember, this is not financial advice. Okay, I'm not suggesting or recommending that you take the same trades. You can if you want to, but it's up to you to manage your own account. And again, this week, giving you a special cautionary note. With all of the uncertainty that we're seeing in the markets, be sure to trade small and, of course, protect your capital. Or not even trade at all. That's fine. Just wait till the elections are done and then things get back to normal, and you'll see more normal trading, more certainty in the market, and that might be the best decision for you. And starting off with gold, XAU USD, I have a buy limit on that one with a very tight 2 pending orders between the price of $27.35 and $27.40. That's a zone where it's likely that gold will retrace back to. Now it might be because gold finished so strongly bullish during the US session on Friday. Oftentimes we see the Asian Pacific market will follow that same direction, and it happened last week, okay, so that there's no pullback, no correction until maybe 1 or 2 days later. So it might not pull back to this 27.35, 27.40 zone, but if it does, that's where I have my buy limit. And if it doesn't, well, it's no trade. Okay, it's no trade. I am not going to chase the candles. Remember, don't chase the candles. Let the market come to you. It will. All right, it will. Just be patient. If it doesn't come today, the market will be here tomorrow. It will be here next week. So just be patient. Learn to discipline yourself to avoid emotional trades. All right, then the Euro US, let's see what's happening with that one. I have a sell limit, of course, as I said, continuing to be bearish on the major pairs with the entry price at 1.0805. With the odd US, a sell limit with the entry price at 0.6625. The New Zealand US with a sell limit with the entry price at 0.6135. The pound US with a sell limit with the entry price at 1.2975. And the USD CAD, you might question me on this one because I know sometimes in the past I've said I will not buy the USD CAD above 138. But going back and looking at the monthly chart, I see that we have actually reached 1.39, and that was 4 years ago. So it looks like we could be headed back to that strong resistance zone. So I'll take one more buy trade. Okay, I've got a buy limit here on the USD CAD at 1.3863, but I certainly don't expect it to go past 1.39, maybe a little bit, but then we should start to see a decline with the USD CAD. So one more buy trade perhaps on the USD CAD with the entry price on the buy limit at 1.3863. And then the UJ, no trade. Okay, because of all of the volatility that's expected, as I've already mentioned, with the news that we looked at and what's coming out with the JPY, no trade. Let's just let this one play out and see what happens. Okay, that's a wrap for this weekly analysis starting on the 28th of October, 2024. I hope that these tips and suggestions will help you to be profitable with your Forex trading. Just remember, most importantly, plan the trade, trade the plan. Don't chase the candles. Let the market come to you. Until next week, I'll see you again in the next video.